Does webbing permastretch after a lot of time under tension? If it does, why do we even care? What's going on, everybody? My name's Alonso. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're doing a very interesting experiment. We're here at the park and I've got 1,200 meters or 24 50-meter pieces of dynamite. And today, we're gonna find out if after 2 to 3 years of heavy use, webbing permastretches. And before we move further with this video, what even is permastretch? Well, it's a good question. Permastretch is essentially the belief that your webbing can permanently elongate and stay at an elongated position. For example, if you buy a 50-meter piece of webbing off the market and rig it at high tensions for year after year after year, it may, after a couple years of using it at higher tensions, turn into 55 meters, for example. This is probably the same reason why I'm able to rig 60-meter gaps with my 5-year-old pink tube, even though when I bought it, it was only originally 50 meters. I'm a believer that permastretch is a thing, and today we're gonna find out. So to summarize, permastretch is essentially permanent stretch where your webbing doesn't go back to its normal length after you de-rig it, after a number of many times rigging it, typically at higher than normal tensions. Now, before I move on and tell you why you should care about permastretch even being a thing in your rigs, I've been putting out a lot of slackline content recently, and if you found any of it helpful or if you've been enjoying it, do me a giant favor and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like button, and the little notification bell so you're reminded whenever I post something educational about slacklining. I appreciate you guys very much, so thank you guys for doing that. Anyway, let's move on to why it matters. Even though webbing permastretch or creep isn't necessarily a dangerous thing, it can be problematic in a few different ways. So I'm gonna cover why it's problematic in 2 different scenarios. So in scenario number 1, we have really big lines like Dyneema segmented rigs. Over the course of the past couple years, it's become very normal for us to buy 50-meter segments of high-tech webbing and put them together in really long chains to form lines up to almost 3 kilometers in length. Now, when you're buying your main line or your 50-meter piece of webbing, you also buy a 50-meter backup piece. However, you don't put the 2 50-meter pieces together because they'll be double tight. So what you have to do is buy some sort of extender length to put on the backup so you can have those nice big backup loops and make your line enjoyable to walk. We obviously can't pick something too short because webbing stretch is still a thing, and we can have a double tight backup, which would result in a very uncomfortable walk. On the flip side, we also can't pick anything too long, because if we have something too long, then what is even the point of a backup at that point? So as a result, we want to pick something with a sweet spot in the middle where it gives us some nice sized backup loops, but still provides us a safe backup in case the main line were to ever break for whatever reason. I'm gonna sidetrack this a little bit by telling you why I'm making this video in the first place. Rewind all the way back to November 2021, where we had a record-breaking 1.35 kilometer line up, and we tensioned it to about 4 kilonewtons, if my memory serves me right. And the first couple walks were great. No issues. It was awesome first day or two. However, after a day or two of walking, the line was super loose. So obviously we had to put some more tension into it. Also, our anchors were really off level, making it really steep to walk off on the static side. So what we had to do to kind of fix that issue was tension the line a little bit more than we wanted to. So we actually had our line at a little over 6 kilonewtons for the final tension. What happened after a day or two of the line being at 6 kilonewtons is that our main and backup lines got double tight. For a little more context on that, we had 50-meter segments of dynamite as both our main and our backup with 3-meter extenders. Webbing like Y2K uses 2 meters of extension for their backup. I thought 3 would be a nice conservative zone where I would get slightly more backup, I never thought that an entire 3 extra meters of webbing on my backup would result in a double tight line, especially when dynamite is advertised to stretch only 1%, which is about half a meter. So in my mind, I was thinking, how could 3 meters have become double tight? What happened? Well, that's where Permastretch or creep became an issue. We were finding out that after rigging our lines so many times and keeping the same main lines main and the same backups, our main lines were actually slowly starting to become longer than the backups. Or so we assume. We're about to find out. Anyway, that's my story. That's why I'm making this video. Let's move forward. Let me talk to you about scenario number 2. In your freestyle rigs, and this has also happened to me, webbing can perma-stretch to the point where it kind of loses its nice bounce. When you get a new piece of freestyle webbing, something nylon, you have to retension it quite often because it's still settling, it's still constantly stretching more than you want it to, and it's got a nice big spring as a result. However, take a spring, stretch it over and over again, and eventually it's not gonna have that same springiness to wanna come back to its original shape. And that's the same thing that happens with nylon rigs. So as a result, you lose that sweet bounce after many days of rigging your freestyle webbing. However, on the flip side of that coin, and a silver lining to creep, Dyneema webbings actually become easier because you don't want Dyneema webbings to stretch typically, and if you have all the stretch preset already, then you lose any possibility of hump or the forward-backward motion that you could get on really big lines, or just general unsteadiness with stretch. So in my personal opinion, and you guys feel free to agree or disagree with me down in the comments, I think nylon rigs suck after you've put some creep into them because they lose their sweet, sweet bounce. However, Dyneema rigs get a lot better so long as you pick the right extender lengths. And for further context, I am now using 5-meter extenders on all my 50-meter pieces, which is a little on the unsafe side, I think. However, I prefer to have a really nice walk and be slightly less safe than to have my main and backup lines double tight. So those are some of the pros and cons and why I think creep is a thing. Now let's move on to the experiment. As I've stated before, I've got 1.2 kilometers of dynamite here, or 24 total pieces of webbing, each supposedly 50 meters long. Who knows? We're about to find out. And I've got a primitive slackline rigged between 2 trees here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take 12 carabiners, as you see here. I'm going to take 12 carabiners, simply clip a sewn loop to the webbing here so I can have the same starting point for all of them. And I am going to essentially lay all my pieces of webbing out in as straight a line as possible that way and try to keep them all parallel-ish. This is not an official experiment. It's just kind of something I thought up on a random Tuesday afternoon. And then we are going to take a tape measure and measure starting from the shortest piece to see if we have any significant differences between our pieces of webbing. So please enjoy this time lapse of me setting up 24 pieces of webbing that way and making sure that they don't crisscross each other so that we can get them all parallel and be able to measure them, compare to one another. And by the way, did I mention it's 95 degrees today? All right, here we go. I've now laid out 4 of the 24 pieces, and I actually just thought of something. In order to save me some time and also make this experiment kind of fun, I'm gonna keep the pieces together. So since they're flaking out together, I'm just gonna put 2 on the same carabiner, like that. And we're just gonna compare 12 different pairs and see if they kind of sort of match up in length or if they don't. And by the way, let me know down in the comments what you guys think is gonna happen. Is Permastretch a real thing? Or is it just a myth that's made up to keep you buying longer and longer and longer extenders for your backups? Oh. It is really hot. And I just realized that I'm going to have to reflake all of this webbing back into these bags all by myself. So as a result, I will only be doing 800 meters instead of the entire 1.2. So you get about 66% of the data samples. It's still a lot of data samples and we're gonna get some interesting results. So feel free to unlike this video because of my laziness and this 95-degree heat. But let's carry on. We got 2 more segments to undo. So here is our first pair. We're going to start number 1 to 8, facing the left as if you were watching from this camera over here. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, respectively. And we can see that there's definitely a variance. I've pulled these webbings relatively close enough-ish together, and you can see that most pairs, with the exception of, what is this? With the exception of pair 5, 6, and 8, are significantly different. In fact, pair number 2 seems to be the biggest, so I'm kind of curious about that one. Let's measure it. We're seeing about 29 inches. Okay, that's pretty close to an entire meter. So a meter in inches is about 40 inches. So that's like 3/4 of a meter. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through and measure every single one, and we're gonna put them on a nice graph. Okay, here we have 14 inches for pair number 1. Pair number 3, 23 inches of difference, roughly. 17 for pair number 4. This was a small one. Only about 10 inches for pair number 5. Pair number 6. Ooh, and we have a winner. Only about 8 inches on pair number 6. Okay. Moving on to pair number 7. And we are at about 25 inches on this one. That's pretty good. And the final one, about, we're gonna say 8. We'll round up. So there you have it. In conclusion, Permastretch is definitely a thing. Is it as significant as I thought it was gonna be? Not exactly. I was expecting to see more of a 2 to 3 meter elongation rather than just the nearly 1 meter max that we saw on pair number 2. Do you think this Permastretch would be much bigger for nylon lines? I've said it before in this video, I am able to rig 60 meter gaps with a single 50 meter piece of pink tube. That is no longer 50 meters, I think. So what I'm personally going to do with this information, I'm going to take all the shorter pieces and mark them, and I'm going to be using those as my main line for the next year or so in hopes that they elongate and stretch to be about the same length that the longer pieces are right now. Basically, I want to be able to go back to 3 meter extenders because I think 5 meters is a little too much. However, I never want to deal with a double tight situation again. So that's what I'm doing. That's where I'm going with this. Just wanted to share that with you guys. That's all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it very much. I hope you learned something today. As always, love you guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.